obviously we'll talk about Ben and Andrew's post
And then
scene.
there's Burnett with the mask, because every other cutscene other than that is him talking about the mask.
Right.
And then there's one of
Yes.
just like Shy Wolves against Who's the Boss, which I skipped over. I didn't give a shit about. The one last year with Patriots and ATL was fun because it showed the Patriots had like a nice side, woo, but
Uh-huh.
nothing else.
I did watch that one actually, but it was, yeah, there was not really much to it other than like, we're coming after that belt. No, we're going to defend that belt. Like, there was nothing, hardly anything to it.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
I mean, I can't really think of any of the other like in between stuff or post stuff. What about the Patreon thing at the end? Should we get into that or no?
Absolutely talking about that.
Okay. I just gotta make sure. Okay.
I think it's important. It's important, man.
Okay. We will talk about it. Yeah, I'm ready then.
Oh, did you hear that?
Mm-mm.
Okay, great. Okay, Danny's sending me some photos. I'll be sure to read them off once we get to the Mara stuff. All right.
Where is he getting it again? Where is he?
The YouTube comments.
YouTube. Okay.
Yeah, I'll be reading them off. Don't worry. I'll be sure to call it the assholes who did it. Assholes who did it. Shit. All right. Second. What's up, assholes? Welcome back to the Call to Action podcast. I'm James.
Hey, it's Melissa.
And we have a lot to talk about because it's spectacular. And our dad's got a divorce. Who's ready for a fun time? So, having never covered, so we've never covered a spectacular before, so this will be fun. As you see, I'm repping the only team who will never die, which I'm using comedy to hide my deep, deep sadness.
And I'm repping 5'0" 100 Notre Dame woot, but I am not representing Team Action, unfortunately, because is Team Action a thing anymore? We will see.
Yeah, so hopefully we get Who's the Boss merch, even though I think they're going face, which doesn't excite me, but whatever, because Riley had the black jacket, and it meant he was going to be like Superman, go dark, but whatever. Back to the match. So, I think did you skip the whole like 30-minute like?
I did. I honestly like the first few like big matches where they had that. I actually did watch it quite a bit, but like eventually it got to the point where I just kind of skipped over it. I skipped over it here this time too.
I think the last one I remember watching, Robert from Late to the Party did it. Since then, it's just been like it's half an hour of shit that isn't a match, isn't important storylines.
I mean, I think last time Drew kind of featured pretty heavily, so I think I remember watching that.
I should go back and watch that then.
But it was where like he came in with his like cane and yeah. So, but I mean, other than that, I pretty much skipped it. I skipped it pretty much straight to the match. Yeah.
Right, and so we see in part 1, we will get the episode of Fife, which I don't like being split up like this because this is not a good streak to start.
No, it's not a good way to start the match or start the video. No.
It's also a bad way to end the match because for the final score, we have Tom Badino at 11 points. We have Thad Williams and Christian Harloff at 12 points and Emma Fife at 13 points going into sudden death. I do think it's interesting how in round two of them spun opponent's choice, which was a fun dynamic because no one really got their strength. No one ran away with it. Thad did a kick-ass job. I think him and Emma did like 5 out of 6, which is nice. But Christian was a champion. He did fairly well in the Patreon match. And he lost to Emma Fyffe? What the
Yeah.
Again,
Well,
Thad
I
Williams.
believe in the last video I may have mentioned Thad as my dark horse in this match. So I'd like to say that I was proven right because he really did like almost get there. I was thoroughly disappointed in the outcome. I mean, yeah. I mean, between Thad and Christian, I would have rather Thad won. Just to see how it would have like taken the storyline, if what would have happened there. Whereas if Christian won, I think everyone's expecting Christian to win and probably just be like, ha, I'm the commissioner now. But like it would have been interesting to see how if Thad won things kind of shook out. But man, when I knew that Emma had that last question, I was just like, ugh.
And see, the worst part is you mentioned Thad being interesting for storylines and Christian just being a gimme. Emma Fyffe is probably the least interesting person to win this because if Thad and Christian lost, at least you have Tom Dagnino, who people asking for him to be commissioner for years, and that's Emma Fyffe, who, say what you will about Fight Club, Star Wolves, whatever your opinion on that, she's not an interesting commissioner. She doesn't have anything to bring.
No. Well, and of the five people in this match, if I were to rank them of like who I wanted to win, Emma was probably like number 5. So
4.
like I'm just really, who do you have below her?
There are 4 people in the match.
Oh. Okay.
Great spectacular, everybody.
I dislike her so much that I put her below the number of people in the match.
Brianne to get up from the table and say, I organized this event. It's my event, motherfuckers, and walk out and sweep the table again. But no. Yes. She had to say, Brianne would have been a perfect commissioner.
Yeah.
Also mistaken, isn't it just like a character title? Like, I'm not sure what they do outside of it.
Yeah, my guess is in real life they wouldn't really do much of anything. It'd probably just be for show mainly.
That's come out
at the events and like say hi to people and say welcome to blah blah blah, and then they have like their videos, and that's probably pretty much it. Everything else is probably still going to be going through other people.
Yeah.
So mainly a figurehead.
Yeah.
But
how did you feel about that reveal of Paulie G?
I wasn't surprised. I would have been surprised if it happened the way it happened, which I wasn't. I don't want to say I was expecting, but I wasn't surprised by it either. I would have been surprised if Christian had gone like full heel, like if he would have just been like swearing at Mark Ellis and like, yeah, if he would have like just came out and been like, yeah, turned completely heel, then
like Andrew I would Guy levels are a little bit
like Andrew Guy levels or higher, like literally betraying everybody.
After today, Andrew Guy's a tough heel to beat.
This is true, but that would have surprised me. But the fact that he was behind it all, oh God, why do I do that? The fact that he was behind it all doesn't surprise me at all. It was not a shock. And he did it to get back into the commissionership, I guess. He doesn't seem to really have a purpose behind it other than just getting back into the commissionership. He seems to be kind of the same person he was prior to the reveal, so not surprised.
To me, that builds up this idea of like it felt like a big letdown because Kalinowski chained the league with corruption, and then suddenly there's someone controlling him. That feels like it should be something like monumentous,
right?
And then you get Christian being revealed, and it's just like, yeah. So it's actually I was controlling you to do what I wanted for the storyline to get my title back. Yeah, Thad, you're not fired. Don't worry, Emma, you're a commissioner. Something big should happen. You had like
Mm.
half a year of build-up. Kalinowski turned heel and sort of like created an Intergeekdom League in June. This should be something important and big, and it was just wasted.
It was. I mean, I feel like he planted some seeds. Like he talked about how Emma would be a commissioner, which kind of leads to like, oh, what does he mean by that? But I mean, other than that, other than those like small, tiny seeds being planted, it wasn't like this huge, like, it wasn't this huge thing that came up. So I don't know. It wasn't like, see, I had mentioned that if it was Mark Ellis, like that would have been like amazing. Or I mean, not Mark Ellis, but anyone. Like if it would have been someone surprising, it would have been like crazy. But the fact that it was kind of expected out of Christian, but then that he didn't really do anything with it other than just like what we would have expected all along. It was a little disappointing, but the only good thing that I can say that came out of it is Emma doesn't have like full reign over the Schmodown, which I mean, when she
Only
won, like
women can't compete.
my gut was like in my like it just sank because I was just like, oh my god, this is gonna be insufferable. Like I don't this is gonna be the most insufferable year of the Schmodown to have her in charge. So when he was able to kind of say, I'm still in charge, that that was like the one redeeming point of him, all that happening.
Just like to backtrack a little bit, I think Mark would have been a great choice. But even just like if you go back to Brienne, because she had the whole working with Kalinowski thing, and the second he lost both singles number one contenders matches and the match against Action, there's a whole story. That whole storyline was just wasted. Especially with Brienne, winning the free for all belt, there would have been a great chance for him to challenge Intergeekdom or to work with Adam again or whoever for teams. Meanwhile, I feel like the whole Kalinowski storyline after all this time was just squandered, and I loved like in the middle of
Yeah.
it. But now that we've reached the end of the story, it wasn't worth the actual journey.
No. And I think there was even a moment where, like, on the desk, Ellis was talking about commissionership. He's talking about, like, what a commissioner should do or be on behalf of the league or something. And it sounded like he was describing Brienne, and you could kind of see a look on her face. I thought it was a look on her face of, like, saying, like, hmm, that sounds like me. And so I really thought we were gonna get like a surprise Brienne in the match or a surprise like Polly working with Brienne. I
Something.
really did think like that was potentially coming, but yeah, it didn't really pay off.
Yeah. And I will admit, I was the only match I actually sat down and watched was Who's the Boss in Shire Wolves and Erwin and Roka, because everything else I was at work doing. I was literally shoveling dirt and sweeping streets for 8 hours today, so I didn't have time to watch matches. I did use my lunch break for Who's the Boss because I was ready.
Oh, that's rough. I don't know that I'd be able to go back to work after that. I think
because here's a fun story. I have like serious back pains, so bending over, sweeping a street all day, doing hard labor wasn't great, but I can fight through it sometimes. But then just victory being snatched away like that, and Ben getting tackled, I just felt all will to just do anything drain out of my body. And I just wanted to go home and curl up in my bed and eat a whole pint
agree.
of ice cream and just
Yes.
cry.
Yes.
And I couldn't. I had to make that paper,
That was pretty rough. I mean, it's just something like I didn't see it coming. I mean, despite the fact that they've kind of had like Ben and Riley sort of edging towards becoming a permanent thing for a while, I still didn't see this coming. Like I just always thought it would be like
Andrew was like the
maybe
manager.
right, Andrew would still be a part of it somehow, or like the faction that they kind of jokingly teased or whatever. But like I really didn't expect like a betrayal storyline. Like that really kind of took me by surprise because there's not been any build up to it. There's not been any like normally and it could be because Drew's such a good actor, like I mentioned last time, but usually you can see some of these things coming, like when in the post match interviews or things like that, you can sort of see like these things coming. And with I never saw this coming. So I don't know if we want to talk about the match first or the the aftermath
we're into it
first.
may as well right now. But I'm just like, I'll get into the
Yeah.
questions later. But something I talked about on the like the reaction thing, whatever, on the main page. It's fitting they covered Revenge of the Sith this week because I could hear in the background just like, you were my brother, Ben. I loved you, and then
Yeah.
just take the lightsaber and fuck.
Yeah. I
And I'm
mean, yeah.
and then, I mean your brother, just to keep the analogy going, just warrior Tommy and Brendan Conlon. Just I because we were gonna have I call him Brandon, the Ben and Andrew number one contenders match, assuming Roka lost, which sadly he didn't. Now we can get that next season because Ben's coming off a 2-win streak and a loss, and then so is Andrew. So I wouldn't mind like if they both take a while out of singles. Who's the boss works on their teams thing. Andrew works on whatever he's gonna do. Probably getting banned again for all we know. I wouldn't mind if the first match back was just those two in singles. Maybe even at like Collision if we can wait that long. Because I really just want I need Andrew to come out just alone and fight like a wolf in a corner, and Ben to come out with Mark Riley, Tom Menino, whoever else is going to work with him by then, with that like triumphant opera music, really getting the Warrior style. And I want him to make up. Have you seen Warrior?
No.
God damn it, Melissa! I was ready to spoil the movie because action fans, we've seen everything.
I probably won't watch it. It's Tom Hardy, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I probably won't watch it.
No, give me a second.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying that because it's Tom Hardy. I'm just saying.
What is wrong with Tom Hardy?
Well, no, I'm not saying it because it's Tom Hardy. It's like MMA, right? Is it?
Yeah.
And I'm just not really into MMA. Like it was boxing, maybe,
but it's like boxing, but with feet, and it still has the emotions of boxing.
Well, if I cared about kicking with feet, I would watch Children all day, but I don't.
And then they choke each other. And again, it has feelings. There's sadness and alcoholism and attachment issues.
I feel like we're moving away from the Schmodown.
We're a team action show first and foremost. So
we're off the rails.
Action Movie Anatomy, best episode they've had.
We're off the rails. Okay, so
match. As host, what else do you expect?
Let's go back to the match.
Final score 31-34 in favor of the Shire Wolves, winning it on their 5-pointer.
I mean, do you really have any insight into it? Like, it was a good match, but it never felt like I don't know how to describe it, but like when Team Action played top 10 or like when the Patriots played above the line, it just like it never felt like it had like this, I'm going to say a John Roca word, it never felt like it had like this gravitas to it. It just like it was a good match and it was a close match. And like even going into like round 2, it was
they had a 2-point advantage, I believe.
Right. And they both had perfect round 2s, I believe. And so like that was really good. I think at the speed round is where it started to kind of come apart. And then from there on, it was just not much of a match. It was just kind of
Well, see, so here's why I disagree, because I think the build up was great because you had the Shy Wolves' like praise women entrance, which I know you might want to get into later, and you had like I think the big deciding factor in like knowing this is a big thing for Who's the Boss was Ben's red suit because he changed it up, he put effort into his appearance differently than normal, which to me speaks like it's something special. But what really builds it up is that 5-pointer because they're out of. I think this is the right match. I don't know. They're out of repeats. They have very limited time to actually get the answer correct, and it's a fairly deep cut. I havenent watched a lot of Jason Bourne movies, so I'm not sure how relatively deep it is, but it's a good 5-point question, and they get
mhm.
it. So you turn to the Shy Wolves. Number whatever category is romantic comedies. All right, this could be a deep cut. What rom-com stars Matthew McConaughey and Jennifer Garner? Like, I don't care about if you knew the question or not, and if you like how difficult it was for you to get that. That is not the same level of question because
Mm-mm.
I'll use like some Showdown Rundown terminology here because asking about like who stars in the movie, who directed, that is not screen time knowledge. You can look that up on IMDb or Wikipedia. You can know it from there. A 5-point question should require you to watch a movie. And if it's not, that has to be a deep cut. Ghost of Girlfriend's Past was like one of the highest grossing movies of 2006 that it came out, whenever it is. That is not the same level of difficulty. And maybe it's just me. I've seen the notice that in a lot of these matches where they have a particular angle, they want to push the story. The last question, the 5-pointer, seems to be lenient, like we saw in Mike versus Mara, or no, it was Mike versus Mara and Inman versus Mara. Each time, the 5-point question for Mike and Inman were incredibly hard. And that's not to take away from Mara's actual level of skill, because she is an amazing competitor. But her 5-point question each time was a fair amount easier
Yeah,
than the one Mike and Inman got.
yeah, agreed. And I feel like so a couple things with that is I feel like um and this is like nothing against Chris Skaliski because I really like him a lot and he is like a huge Remember the Titans nerd like I am. So like he and I are very much on the same page. But it like it would have been different if there would have at least been plot parts to it in the question. Like in this romantic comedy, Matthew McConaughey plays a blah 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 who does this with Jennifer Garner, blah 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 blah. Then like if there's plot points in there, at least
Yeah.
I mean I don't know, at least the only way I could see like name the movie from this director or this actor or whatever being like worthy of a 5-pointer is if it's such an obscure movie or like it was just a movie that just tanked and like no one saw it and like it 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 debuted number 15 on the like weekend list. Like if it's a movie that like no one remembers, then like I can like give that the benefit of the doubt and say, okay, well, maybe that would be okay as a 5-point question.
I,
But it would have to be really, really, really obscure. Otherwise, I think you're right.
um, yeah.
I think it needs to be plot specific or at least comparable. But yeah, I don't know.
Right. So tell me how this sounds to you because it might fit your criteria. Um, Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy star in what movie directed by Richard Linklater that is not a part of the Before trilogy?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, first,
I
do
don't
you know
know
the
that.
answer? It is Waking
I
Life in
don't.
2001 with the like the cell shaded motion capture technology. I don't know what the actual term is, but see, in that one, it requires you to watch the movie because it's like a middle segment in a movie that no one has seen. So even though knowing that they're in the cast, you don't know that they're Jesse and Celine.
Right. Yes. And I think, I mean, it did take the Shirewolves a little bit to get it. So, I
I
mean, I
I
think
like
they barely got it, but I mean, I think they really just, I think they kind of had to dial back into their like memory bank and like think of their IMDb like memorization that they did, and they got it. But I mean, I don't know. I think that's
like
about as,
because like
I
I
don't
can
know if
say
either of them
personally,
saw the movie, but
like if you're talking about like Matthew McConaughey rom coms, you basically you start at not Lincoln Lawyer, Amadeus, no, Amistad in 1998, I believe, to Dallas Buyers Club in 2013. That's about 15 years of movies you can go through, which for McConaughey isn't that hard, to the point that I guessed Ghost of Girlfriend's Past because it was just the only one. It was either that or How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's on like process of elimination, especially with two repeats. That is not a fair question.
No. And I think like had it not been either How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days or Ghosts of Girlfriend Past, if it had been some random movie that
If
no
it
one
could
had
have
ever
been
heard
like
of.
Stealth, it could have been fine because Stealth, no one saw.
Yeah, no, if no one's ever heard of it, then like that makes it a fair question. But I mean, like imagine if the question had been Matthew McConaughey and Kate Hudson. Like that would have been the easiest 5-pointer in the history of 5-pointers, but it's not all that different. Like, I mean, it's not really all that different of a question that, you know, between Matthew McConaughey and Kate Hudson or Matthew McConaughey and Jennifer Garner. It's the same question. So it's not really like, it's just not that difficult, I don't think. But
Because
oh
and
well.
again, you can correct me on this because I wasn't like super cognizant of Matthew McConaughey at the time. But Ghost of Girlfriend's Past should have been like a big movie because I remember even watching my like Disney DVDs when I was growing up. I still saw trailers for Ghost of Girlfriend's Past on the DVD. That's how like wide reaching it was. I would see it on like trailers for movies that I would see it on DVDs for movies totally unrelated to it. It should be
Yeah.
pretty big.
Yeah, well, and I think it's another like it's a movie that like okay, if you had said a Sandra Bullock rom-com and you didn't entirely know what it was and you just guessed the lake house, like you just guessed it. Like I feel like Ghosts of Girlfriends Past is like that same. I think it's just one of those things you didn't even have to like that would be like a guess. Like it wouldn't even be like an educated guess. It wouldn't even be like something you'd have to put that much thought into. It'd be like just name a Matthew McConaughey rom com. That's gonna be one of your guesses. So I mean, I just think it's just not that difficult. I will say, going back to you mentioned Ben coming out in the red, which he looked lovely. He looked lovely,
He
by the
stole my
way.
style, by the way. I wore red
I was
suit
getting ready to say
first.
that. I was getting ready to mention. I was getting ready to mention that he stole your outfit, but
You
I will.
remembered.
I did. Well, it's hard to forget, but I will. I will say like one thing is Ben when he's in his all black. I always think to like how he always respected Roca as like the man in black, like like the like
Like Will
the
Smith
outlaw.
in 1999
Well,
or
more
Tessa
like
Thompson
Johnny.
in 2019 because goddamn.
I think it was more like Johnny Cash, but the point is, like, him in his all
Called the
black
Men in
always
Black.
kind of him and his all black always kind of reminded me of like him like wanting to be like this, like I don't want to say rogue. Rogue is the wrong word, but like yeah, but I don't know. I don't know if the color is a changing of the guard from the super serious Ben to a more playful Ben, but I don't know.
I
I'm
I
not sure.
really I'm almost expecting Ben to go face next season. I really don't want it
I
to happen, but
I
it
am
might.
too.
Because
Okay, here's where I'm going with this. I don't know if they would go this crazy. Would they say that Ben got like a concussion or some sort of amnesia situation from his tackle, and then like and then like stop, and
that
then like at the end of next season, like his memories come back, and like him and Andrew like reunite. Like
oh
he goes.
oh that would be so much. Give me 1 second. I mean, I know Alex Damon force projected his own image, but no, I don't think that'll happen.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I don't know, I mean, they're doing like WWE style storylines, so I don't think that's that out of the
I would
question.
almost prefer if Ben went full what women want, and just had the ability to read the minds of other competitors. Now that would be interesting.
Yes. Yes. So, okay, so obviously we were both very disappointed in the results of the match. Is there anything other than the match, like anything match related that you think we missed, or do you want to move on to kind of
Um,
the major moment that, that we
I
need to
honestly
talk
just like
about?
that they ran the table with Festival Darlings because I knew
Yeah.
I would have, huh? But I like seeing the category get play because it's one that I think doesn't get a lot of love, but I absolutely
Mhm.
adore playing along with because
Yeah.
people it's a really shallow pool honestly because Festival Darlings isn't really a term we heard used before like 2012, 2013. So you
Right.
have like what 6 years of movies to study, and they're all fairly high profile, or at the very least, you could do some minor research. Because even just being the movie fan that I am, I've heard of all of these movies, and I can get the answers right without even seeing them.
Hmm. I was really kind of surprised, like Ben wasn't as enthused about it, like when they spun it the first time, because I mean, obviously he goes to a lot of these like film festivals and film premieres and things like that. So I would think that'd be kind of up his alley.
I don't think he goes to festivals actually.
Really?
Yeah, I know he goes to
Hmm.
premieres, and I know he's gotten some like high
I know he
profile
travels.
interviews and stuff.
I know he travels a lot, so I kind of
Yeah,
assumed that he was like,
yeah.
yeah,
Well, I
doing that
think
kind
that's
of
just
stuff.
for like 'cause I know like following ETC for as long as I did, they went to Cuba or something to do the DVD release of Fate of the Furious. So it could honestly just be that for doing interviews.
Yeah. Well,
All right.
yeah.
So
Anyway, so
do you really want to dive into this post credits thing?
uh, I guess we're gonna have to.
I'm asking because I don't know if we are because I know we're like just scattershotting everywhere. I wish I because I would love to just get like the full transcript of what they said just so I could just read along with it. Tears stain
Right.
the paper.
Well, one thing I'm kind of like I'm definitely curious about is if they had won, if Who's the Boss would have won. I'm definitely curious how that would have played out, if it would have played out the same way, or
Oh,
if they would have.
absolutely.
I don't know. I'm just very curious how it would have played out. But like when Ben first took his jacket off and like threw it, I kind of like thought, oh, it's the return of It's the
What?
return of Angry Ben. Like he's gonna come back to like the dark side. Like like you know, Riley's kept him like above board for a little bit, but you know, he's getting mad. He's throwing his jacket. He's gonna be back on the dark side before long. And yeah, I'll let you talk about your thoughts.
That's all I can really do.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed.
Like,
Well, yeah. Yeah.
I will say though, like we harassed a very certain person for crying at Dan Murrow losing the Andrew guy, and I think it was me in particular who said something like, "How do you cry at movie trivia?" I apologize for my past self. I didn't realize the pain I could feel. But in my
Yeah.
defense, there was literal pain that day because Andrew tackled Ben and broke a podium.
He did. He did. It must have been an IKEA special. they must have specifically went to IKEA to get something that's breakable.
Man. I
Yeah.
really hope that it doesn't like impact Andrew in the future because I want him to come back next season. I want his next team to do something like have him team up with like Janine, or are there any like free agents in terms of teams right now? Because
I
Brienne is
mean,
going to stick with Brian, whoever his name is, for Sick in the Head.
no other than like I wondered about like McWeenie or
Oh, that'd be dangerous.
like I know that like Sam Levine's retired, but like maybe he comes out of retirement. But like I was thinking of like these just like completely like out of left field people that you wouldn't like. I love Janine, obviously, and that would be a perfect fit and a good match. But I guess I was thinking like completely like left field about it, like I said, McWeenie or gosh, I don't even know, but just all these like random people that or like Mark Bernardin, or I mean, just like someone like completely out of the blue that you wouldn't expect.
Well, so here's the way to break it down, I think, because what we've had confirmed so far, just with general Collider stuff, is that Harris Brothers is continuing. Self-Righteous Brothers and Cinemaniacs are disbanded for critically acclaimed to come back. You have Brienne and McWeenie, I believe, are still being a team, from last I heard. And we've confirmed now that Founding Fathers are staying together, which means there's a handful of single agents without teams. Erwin isn't going to go, and so I think they're going to stick with like a big name for him. And the what's the Neil Simon play? The Odd Couple is sticking together because I think Roxy confirmed that on Collider Live. I think what's going to be very interesting and a very serious possibility is JTE.
I was getting ready to say that.
JTE will team up with Andrew Guy to bring back, heal him, whatever. If Harris Brothers lose to critically acclaimed, I think Andrew and JTE take a gimme, like a whatever the Lion's Den was, against the Shire Wolves. They get a gimme match basically, and then Andrew and JTE go and face Harris Brothers because technically they're 1-1. Because I'm not going to count the Evil Geniuses win, and they got KO'd by Who's the Boss. So it's a pretty big defeat. I think if they win their first match, which again can be simple.
So you're suggesting the return of the Night Sisters?
Yes! Emma 5 is all high. So that actually pissed me off a little bit to backtrack a little bit. Emma was when Emma lost to Janine, she's like, "Oh, I don't care about this because singles really isn't my league. I don't care about this loss." And then she goes and wins against Christian Harloff and Thad Williams, I guess, because apparently he's better than we all thought, even though his team disbanded as well. And she's like, "Oh, this is so great. I'm such a hard worker. I'm so glad to be in this league and be inspired by all these wonderful women." So yeah, bring back the Night Sisters. Have Andrew Guy and JT kick their asses. I don't know. Although it would be nice. It would be nice to see Joelle Monique again because I miss her. I don't watch as much movie fights as I'd like to, and she's a wonderful person on there. Bring back
Yeah.
the Night Sisters and have it be like, oh yeah, remember playing with Team Action? Yeah, you guys were fun. And Andrew's guy's just like, oh, I was in prison, motherfucker.
Yeah. The only thing about JTE and Andrew, which I think would be a pretty good team, is Dagnino is linked up with Ben. And last we saw, Finstock and JTE were on good terms. So we'd either have to see like a JTE Finstock breakup, or do they play both sides? Like, I don't know.
In a perfect world, because this would require a lot of wins and losses on a bunch of sides, I think that team could pull an Andrew Guy where, like say the first match is a gimme, whatever. Second match is Harris Brothers for JTE to get his revenge on Lon. Revenge. Second match would be against Odd Couple for JTE versus Snyder. And then for the number one contender shot, you get them versus Who's the Boss for Ben and Finstock. Assuming they'll get the title by then, because they damn well should.
Yeah.
I think that'd be an amazing like few bits of story, because like Andrew just winding up and just going, or no, Andrew and JTE both just winding up and just going through everyone who's hurt them in the past.
Yeah. The only thing about Andrew and JTE together is like just like closing my eyes and imagining them as a team, like imagining them working as a team. Like between JTE and his incoherent speaking and Andrew's perfect diction, it's just like very opposite, but it might work. Who knows? I don't know.
Oh, This is gonna sound like morbid, but does JTE have any like scars or anything?
I don't think so, because I think I saw a picture from the Christmas party, and he was there, and he seemed fine looking that I saw.
I think it'd be cool if like it was I don't know like the pop culture exact comparison I could do, but say like if JTE went silent like Adam Gertler did, but instead of just being like this is my shtick, it's like he is like a monster. It'd be like that, where it's like, JTE, what do you have to say? Right. Then they're going to go over there, they kick your asses, treat you prison style, motherfucker. Like, I think Andrew Guy could sell that. And if JTE went full stone face, like, set aside the character of Wilmo del Toro and Trisata Terrace Taurus Tops, I think if he went silent, like, I think just like the monster JTE rather than Little Evil, I think that could be a lot of fun to play with. And Andrew Guy is in this. I think he'd be really fun. I think they cover each other's weaknesses a little bit, especially because Andrew has the rom-coms to play into. I think it'd be potentially dangerous.
Yeah. But anyway, so going into that situation, so we have Drew and Ben kind of talking about maybe a faction, since Riley and Ben compliment each other so well. Andrew's got his new teammate. Like it was like,
don't you do it.
I'm not gonna do it, but it was very exciting. It was like, oh, okay.
I thought you were gonna go down a dark path.
No.
A this path, and I was ready to just hang up the call right now.
I wasn't going there yet, but I mean we can get into that. But...
Okay, it is one thing for Ben Bateman to turn face, but I can handle that. What I can't handle is him going to side with fucking John Rocha. I can't, because again, look at the way John's played. Look at the way he's acted. He's an asshole. I don't want to root for that. I don't want Ben Bateman to turn around and like he can be a tweener. Being a tweener's fine, because that's what the Horsemen are right now, other than Jason and Min. don't want him to side with Roka. I don't want Ben Bateman to go out and be like, "Hey, Roka, you can win the next title." Just, I'm like a child throwing a fit right now, but I don't care. I'm upset.
Yeah.
I'm upset.
It would be interesting, but no, I mean,
Take my bottle.
I think a horse. I think a Team Action faction is something we've kind of all been talking about for a while now, and we've all kind of talked about how even if Who's the Boss lost, it would still be nice for Andrew to be a part of their team, whether it's as a manager, whether it's as maybe like he gets a different teammate and is sort of like the opposite team within the faction. We've kind of all like speculated on that, and so I mean, it wasn't like a huge surprise to see them like hug it out and like, okay, they're team action. The Team Action faction is born, woohoo! And then just like out of nowhere, like a flash across the screen, and it's like, oh like my hopes and dreams just poured out onto the floor. Like, what are they doing to me? They're just looking Team Action in the face, and
it's not fair. It is not fair.
it is not fair. It's a bummer for sure, but what can we do other than hope there will be a reunion at some point?
Do you have any more words you want to say before we go to break?
No. Boo. Boo.
Boo.
Hiss.
Dishonor on you. Dishonor on your family. Dishonor on your cow.
Yeah. No. Don't really have anything to say other than just I will say, like, with this match being kind of like towards the beginning of the 3 matches, it kind of like soured my experience for the rest of the spectacular.
I'll be honest, I was very soured until the very end.
Yeah, I mean, like, I almost didn't watch the second video and third video. I almost just like was like,
yeah,
I just don't think I want to watch the rest of it. Like, I was so just like so dejected. So the fact that we're even making this video at all is kind of a miracle, because at that point I was kind of done. I was like,
yeah. Oh no, I was drained. I was ready to just say whatever. We can just push it back a week, whatever. But I was fine. And I started taking notes, and I had to fast forward through the matches to see what the scores were. And the second that I saw 31-34, my heart just shattered, and I said, I don't want to do this. That's how much this has impacted me, and I am just, oh god. So yeah, we will be taking a break, and we will be talking about the video 2, which we both watched, surprisingly enough.
barely, but yes.
Yes, we will catch you back after the break so we can go fill our little puddle of tears. Catch you on the flip side. All right, great.
Okay.
So, quick little break, and we're gonna head back
Yeah.
for Clark and Merle, and then Knapsack and Damon.
Yep. Okay.
So I got a brand new phone, and my dad's like, "Hey, we couldn't transfer your number over, so we just left. We got to leave it at the store for the weekend." Luckily, he was messing with me, but I was ready to just go out, man.
That's good.
I gotta log into all my social media again. All right. Sorry about that. All right. I should be good now.
Poor Danny.
Just looking back at the chat and see everything he's feeling.
Yeah.
All right, you ready?
See.
All right, I'll also be eating in the background, so I'll try to be quiet. God. See, can I do a gag with this? I don't know what it would be because I honestly don't care enough, but not from a Jedi. Oh crap! Volume. All right, so you ready? Are you ready? All right.
Yes.
Second. And we're back from the break. We have now overflown our puddle of tears, so we are ready to move on. The first match we have up is Clark versus Merle 2, whose outcome was unsurprising.
I would think that's pretty much the best way to put it. Unsurprising. I don't know that it would have been surprising either way, but definitely kind of uneventful would be another good word for it. I will say for me, go ahead.
I'm looking at it more from the point of view of when Clark played him before. I think it actually showed it in the setup. Like it was like a knockout 11-4. That's brutal. And
yes,
I think Merle's actual like plan has just been like up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So he's been like, I think he's been 500 this season so far, or if not close to it. So I do think it could have gone either way. However, for some reason, I just felt like Clark wouldn't have won, probably because of the like she needed to work a lot on the previous match.
Yeah, I will say this was like a minor ray of light in this spectacular for me because Emma had won and Shire Wolves had won. So if Clark had won, like I didn't really have a preference between Dan and Clark that much, but had Clark won, it would have been pretty much a clean sweep for the Fight Club, which would have just been it would have been intolerable. So I was glad to see that there was no clean sweep, Fight Club wise. I mean, I didn't have a preference either way between Dan and Clark, and I wasn't really surprised either way. I figured Dan would win, but it wouldn't have surprised me if it went the other way. And But yeah, I mean that means the people who are going to be out in New York are going to get a pretty good match between Dan and um,
Erwin.
the winner of the winner of the match coming up later. Um,
Big time.
anyway,
Uh,
so yeah, I mean,
I
well,
love that.
we won't go back into my opinions of that, but yeah, between Dan and Clark, just nothing really to discuss. I don't think.
I friend of I won't even say friend of the show, but like friend of ours, Paul Oyama, is tired of me in this because I'm when I'm about to say I'm sitting there and he got very angry at it. I'm a little disappointed for the people in New York who get to see this because the headliner is a vacuum of charisma. Because you have two people with not really a character, just what because you know damn well when they step on stage and give their little speech, it's going to be Jay and Roka just going at it, and then Ethan and Merle just be sitting there like, "Yep, what he said. I'm going to win. Let's go."
If they're even out there, like they might just
They could pull an Emma Fife and just sit in the background, get ready in costumes.
yeah. I'm kind of curious if Roka and Jay will be there. I mean, I guess it never really occurred to me that like the managers would travel with them, but they might. I mean, I don't know. I guess it depends on the travel schedule and their work schedule and stuff.
I'd almost guarantee Jay's going to be there, just because Janine's there as well. Like this is
That's
like
true.
I mentioned it a lot before. Like this is the week of like this is someone's like they scheduled it just so that they'd be central. This is Jay's week, which
Yeah.
generally, at least in my experience from just watching it, means it's gonna be one win, one loss. I think, as much as I love her, Janine's gonna lose, and Erwin's gonna win because
Yeah.
if Jay goes 0-2, storyline potential out the window, and they're like what I've noted was every live event has been Roka or Five Horsemen centric. And with
True.
Merle there, that just elevates the possibility.
Yeah.
Which means I like it's the first match of the season. So I don't think they immediately jump in like we found our fifth horseman to fill the spot. That's quick. But I wouldn't be
Mm-hmm.
surprised if it's some sort of tease of we have the fifth horseman, or we're talking to
Yeah.
someone, or if it just
Yeah.
honestly comes down to, honestly, I'd be down if just Riley leave it with Broca, Merle, and Inman, which is it's still a solid like three person
Sure.
faction.
I think with Ethan, the only thing I think that could be something to wonder about is I don't know what his professional obligations will be. Is this is happening at the same time as New York Comic Con, right? Is it?
I don't know. I think because this is in January. Comic Con is in
Oh,
like
but is it
late
happening
May.
during a like? I was thinking it was happening during like an event of some sort, but maybe not.
No.
Not like during the
Are you
event
thinking?
itself, but like I was
Oh,
thinking like they were kind of holding it the same weekend as something so that the travel would be.
Ellis is hosting a comedy thing a day or two before, I
Mm,
think.
yeah. So I mean, I guess that doesn't really matter. I was gonna say, if Ethan has like professional obligations while he's out there that could maybe take his mind away from the game, like that could play into it. But if he's just strictly out there for the match and nothing else, then I mean, I would say it's pretty much an even match.
Yes, however, Merle has been incredibly inconsistent.
Hmm.
I think it comes down to how much he prepares himself because, like, I think who was it? No, it was against Irwin, right? That he lost.
Hmm.
Yeah, he had like a 50% win rate or 50% accuracy rate.
Yeah.
That isn't. That's not good. And we saw against Andrew. I think he had even worse, like a 48. I think.
Oh yeah, that was I don't know what the accuracy
Yeah.
rate was, but it
So
was
I think
uncharacteristic.
I think Dan needs to come in like ready. He needs to study. I think he should pull a Roka, which is weird. I think he should like work with Mara non-stop, like the week or so beforehand, maybe even 2 weeks. Just get a binder full of trivia and just go through it. Go through IMDb,
Mm,
burn through like online trivia games, just something, because
yeah.
yeah, he needs to be ready. Otherwise, he's gonna get blown out of the water.
Sure. I think if Dan wins, it would be interesting because I mean really the belt at this point is just kind of traveling from like person to person to person to person. So if Ethan can't retain, then like I mean, when was the last time someone defended the belt? I mean, it would be Sam, but how long ago was that? 6 months ago, maybe? 4
Um,
months?
he last defended it against Clark in, I think it would have been the free for all title. No, 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 no. It would have been the number one contenders shot that Emma. No, yeah, the number one contender shot Emma got from the Manager Bowl, which
Right.
would have. I think that was, yeah. I think it was like March or April.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's been a while since the belt has been defended. It seems like ever since Bibbs got it, it's just kind of been like a one term one term situation. So, it'll be interesting to see. But that's really all I have about that particular match is it I mean, it's a good match because it's two good competitors, but nothing really to speak about. No like surprises, no major issues,
Yeah, it's
just
it's
a
a match.
Clark Wolf Clark Wolf Dan Roll match, basically.
Yeah, it's almost like it's sort of comforting after everything that happened before, and it's just
Yeah.
boom, boom, and like I think it's like a nice. How do I say it? It's like a nice little reprieve from all the other heavy
Hmm.
hitting matches that we have. Because even the next one,
Yeah.
like even though we may not be as into it as everyone else is, it's still like a big like headliner thing.
Yeah.
That's all I have really to say on the match because like we'll get into the actual credits scenes around it later. But yeah, just Marl got a TKO. Good on him. I think that's his sixth one. Sixth one. He's now up to 10 wins, I believe, which is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at this burrito in the corner like I am just really hungry.
Well, let me tell you, when I was in first grade, my teacher was Mrs. O'Shea.
Mm.
We're just gonna go through my entire history right now.
No, you can transition the matches if you want. It's not just it doesn't have to just be me.
um well, yeah. I mean, I don't have much more to say about this match too. So,
Yeah, so great. Just
um
next match we have Ken
next
Napzok
match.
versus Alex Damon.
Yeah. I mean, that went about the same as I thought it would too. I mean, I would have been surprised either way. I if I was to pick, I figured Alex was going to win, so I wasn't surprised.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was happy with the outcome. Alex seems like a really sweet guy, and obviously he's very, very knowledgeable. I would say, like, for my money, I would say Alex is probably the most knowledgeable competitor in their particular like field than any of the other competitors, like as far as like inner geekdom or even like the singles competitors or doubles competitors. If you pick
Mm.
their strengths and any of the competitors with their strengths or inner geekdom or anything like that, Clark Wolf with horror and so on and so forth, I would say Alex is probably the most locked in, dialed in, knowledgeable competitor that there is, or maybe has ever been. Now, I mean, obviously Sam and Dan and people like that are like more broad. They have more broad knowledge bases. So I'm not going to say Alex is the best competitor we've ever had, but I will say for his particular specialty, I mean, I would compare him to maybe Jason Inman. Like he's pretty impenetrable. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's like I think before I tentatively agree with you. Before I really lock in on that though, I'd want to see him versus Sam Witwer, which is still very up in the air if he ever
Yeah.
returns. But I wanted
I
to
mean,
because
we already kind of saw it in the five-way, and I mean, Alex did pretty much play him neck and neck in that five-way, but it would be interesting to see it like in a
yeah.
one-on-one situation. But I mean, other than that, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say like I was happy for Ken that he at least made it a pretty good game, which I mean, I kind of thought that Alex might run away with it. So, I mean, it was still a pretty close match. So, I mean, Ken kind of can hang that on, um, has that to hang his hat on, I guess.
Uh, I wish I could recap it better, but because I'm not really super familiar with this, I'm not paying like hyper attention.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
neither.
Ken spun Phantom Menace, and Alex spun Who Said It, which is just interesting. I haven't seen that in a long time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's a pretty tough category. Like, I mean, obviously, if they're like the major lines, a lot of people will know them. But like some of those like deep lines, I mean, it could get really like specific. So, I mean, a category like that can really go just about either way. So,
Well, yeah, it's because
he seems to do pretty good with them.
particularly in Star Wars, we see like what's the first line in this movie, or what's this character's first line. It's tiring. I
Yeah.
I
Well,
am
and also especially since like so many of the characters speak about the same things, like but just with like different like with different lines, but like the basic gist is the same. So like maybe Liam Neeson said something in like the prequels that was a line that sounds a lot like a line that was said in like Return of the Jedi, and like so like I could see like a lot of those lines getting mixed up because like George Lucas loves to say like they rhyme, so a lot of the lines, not that they get recycled, but they do get repurposed, I'll say, into like the same concept, some of the same words, but just like in a different order. So I think that's probably the toughest thing for me. I would think that would be pretty tough to figure out like who said what.
Yeah. Uh, I want to contribute more. I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
I had a feeling almost that they were going to retire the Star Wars League after this match. So
I did too.
I was really glad that Knapsack didn't win because, again, with the whole, not even again, we'll get into this after the break, with the whole Kalinowski thing, just like, I understand behind the scenes why it happened. I'm not criticizing that at all. Just from a story perspective, I don't like where it goes because it's,
Mhm.
hey Thad, I have you by the balls, do what I want, and it's I'm gonna use the term gimme again, even though it's not used in the same context. It was just like you, like I control you, you give me what I want, and there wasn't like oh you got to work for it or anything, which in these shows you want. And now again, I understand the scheduling conflict. I know that there wasn't another competitor who was available to face Damon, because you didn't want another Bruce Green to walk in, and you didn't want, and Rachel didn't want to compete against Mara, and I'm sure I don't think anyone else was like close enough to rematch against or match against her. So Kalinowski stepped up.
Right.
I understand that, but
Yeah.
I don't like the ease of it.
No. And going back to, we'll talk about the storylines, which this is completely unrelated, but with Christian being the one kind of pulling the strings on this kind of stuff, it kind of makes you wonder, like I said, like you said, storyline wise, not in real life, but storyline wise, like what would the purpose be of sitting on his power for like 6 months and letting Kalinowski do his bidding for like 6 months? Why not just have like a commissioner's match like right off the bat to get his commissionership back? Like,
It's
I,
I
I
think
guess I,
just like in terms, it's just a programming thing where it's like he wants to do it for the fans. That's why he did it. He
uh,
like Kalinowski was his way of not only getting his commissionership back, but also just giving the fans what they want, because he's trying to cause the most havoc possible for Thad to try and explain. And he turns the entire league against him. He's a little bit of a sociopath. And so I think it was like, because I know like personally I've suggested it. I know tons of the fans have suggested the anarchy idea. This is just
yeah,
his this is his fun way of giving the fans what they want, other than, hey, let's shake things up.
yeah, true. But yeah, I don't really have a whole lot to say about the Star Wars situation.
Mm,
Uh,
yeah,
but congratulations to Alex Damon.
yeah.
He seems
He's
like a really nice guy, and if he would like to join the Action Army, that would be great.
he's an intimidating champion in the way that faces should be, where he is a wall. Like he doesn't have pieces of knowledge where that he doesn't know. He doesn't have a way to like shake him to his core. He is just, you got to fight your best fight to beat him. And I think at this point, if he wins one more, wins one more match, he has an immediate chance at revenge or like a rematch.
Yeah,
So good luck anyone else getting that belt.
yeah, agreed, agreed. So next match
We
is
will actually be going to a break. So
oh
yeah, after the
yeah,
break, we will be discussing the Inner Geekdom and the singles title match. Oh boy,
okay, and,
yeah.
and that's it.
Uh,
Yeah,
I don't have like an interesting tradition for this. So see you in like a minute.
bye.
I just
I have
realized
a
something.
bruise. I have a bruise. Oh God.
Melissa,
Yeah.
our our little like intro and middle segment are now sort of gone.
Our intro and middle segment. What do you mean?
Remember the bits that Andrew and Ben recorded for us?
Yeah.
Andrew and Ben.
Oh. Yeah. No.
Yep.
What are we
So
gonna
there
do?
it goes.
Hmm. Well, um, I guess that's something to run by
Yeah. See,
the
I would love to ask them
crew.
about it if they read their messages.
Yeah. Uh, um, yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do.
And I would love to have someone reach out to him, but Aix and Helene are not doing anything.
No. Uh,
Mm. Oh shit! Richard's a message.
he sent one or you sent one?
Hmm. I just hope they still care about us because I know, like, I asked them to hop on for a reaction. I actually asked Ben to hop on for the team title match, and he didn't respond. I'd assume that was just like I don't want to talk about it or something, but he didn't even look at it. So I'm just, I'm worried about what they think of us.
Mm-hmm.
I just realized something. Guy versus Merle has no chance of being match of the year.
Why?
Because I think Who's the Boss versus Shire Wolves is a serious contender for it. And they're not going to split hairs on who to give it to. On top of that, you have, like, this is an incredible year for matches. And honestly, people just, I think there's enough of a bias for Merle for the people who are in, like, the inner circle to not nominate it because they don't want to, like, remember that kind of match.
That, and I think there's probably going to be like an upset of the year category, and they'll probably figure they could stick it in that category.
Oh, yeah. No. That was paired with the Star Wars special, the Star Wars match with Bruce Green. Yeah. Now, event of the year, I could see that happening. Like, if you line up Spectacular, Collision, Free for All, I think Collision wins out of those three.
Yeah.
It's only because I am heavily let down by this, and Free for All I never care about.
Except for when Andrew comes out, that was awesome.
That was amazing.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it might end up being Mara and Rachel. I think the people that nominate it will probably nominate that one. And it'll kind of pick up momentum, I think. It'll be the darling.
The festival darling.
The Schmoedown darling. So tell me, explain this to me. Jarrett is coming next weekend.
Okay.
And, well, and staying till the 1st. He has no plans yet. Should I be annoyed?
What do you mean no plans?
Gotten a room.
Have you asked him about it?
Yeah, I did. He said he's taking care of it, but he hasn't
Let you know specifically?
I don't know.
Maybe try to keep it a surprise.
I mean, maybe, but I'm just don't wait until the last minute and just I just don't understand men. I didn't know if this was a guy thing. A guy thing to just
No. From what I've seen from y'all's relationship, it sounds like he might just trying to surprise you.
Oh, that would be nice, but I don't really want to be surprised. I want
Like to
I
hear
want
that.
to know what's going on. Well, especially since like I mean, I don't really live like I live in a small area, so I mean, for one, there's not a whole lot of places for him to stay. For
Mhm.
two, like you need to let me know
I'll
what's
be right
going
back real
on.
quick. It's all right. I also have something to pack for. I'm going out from tomorrow to Tuesday, and I need to pack and be prepared. So I have that to do as well.
Stupid boy.
Are you ready
See,
to
I'm the
continue?
kind of person I pack like weeks ahead of time, at least a week ahead of time. Like, I don't understand you people who
But
just
then there's like clothes you might want to wear between now and then.
you just like, you just fly by the seat of your pants. Ugh.
Europeans? What did you say?
I said fly by the seat of your pants.
Why are Europeans always on my mind? I keep thinking about that Fez boy from that '70s show.
Mm,
You don't like Fez?
not too much.
Yeah, I don't think most people do.
Mm,
So are you ready to continue?
I am.
Mm-hmm.
3, 2, 1, go.
Hey guys, we're back from the break. We're just sitting here on our phones.
For this segment, you'll be watching people on their phones. Welcome to the 21st century.
I don't know. I did that with Richard before, where it's just like a. Let me check the match really quick, and we will just sit here in silence while I try to find out what I missed in my notes. It's like, no, Richard. During this time, you talk to people. Like, oh yeah,
Well,
that'd be a good
I
idea.
don't really have much to say about the Inner Geekdom match.
Yeah.
It went to sudden death.
Sudden bath.
So that
Oh, that's a
would
scary
be a very
cat.
different. That would be a very different
Yeah.
match.
It went to sudden death. Mari didn't get an answer, and kind of she's like, oh, "Is it Calpo or whatever it was?" She's like, "Okay, whatever, I'm done."
It's like, bye. Anyway,
Yeah. So are you ready to start?
even though it was like sudden death, and so obviously it's a very close
Melissa,
match and a good match. It felt like a
Melissa,
very
we haven't
what?
started yet. I was joking.
Are you serious?
You got to bring it back with something big, right? We got to have a
What?
gag or something to start off the bit with, to the section with.
What's the gag?
I don't know. That's I got to figure that out because I mean you got Kalinowski and Mara, Irwin and Roca. I could bring back the You weren't there for that. I did another one of the, and we're back from the break. I wouldn't mind that, but I don't know what I could do with Roca. But okay, I think I know what I can do. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right, get ready.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't laugh because I'm trying to be serious. You know, I'm an actor. Very serious. And we're back from the break. I just wanted to let you all know that the fake paper champion has now lost. We have someone who actually matters holding the belt. That is all. And I will say, I'm not referring to Mara, so I don't totally hate women. I'm referring to Roka, so I hate foreigners.
I don't totally
Only
hate
one of those
women.
jokes fits here today, people.
But you're suggesting that you sort of hate women.
Only ones managed by Emma Fife. So and Draco doesn't count, and Draco is amazing.
We love
go
Mark
Glen
and
Coco.
Draco.
Yes, we do. Yes, so the first match of this final segment of our last showdown episode of the year is Kalinowski versus Mara Konopik. This is also a little bittersweet. I mean, the match, not the Pepsi, not sponsored.
It was a pretty like low energy match. I thought like
I would say that's for most of Mara's things. I think the
true.
one that was actually like high energy per se was the actual live show title match because it was live. But
Yeah.
it's rough for me because it plays in the whole thing I mentioned with Knapsack earlier, where it was a gimme sort of shot, and I don't like that. So I was hoping Mara could really put him down. Like, no, I am a legitimate champ. I fought very real people, including you, to get here, and you can't beat me. But just ask a question in the speed round. Can you hear me?
Barely, yes.
Yeah, no, because I get very dramatic, and I can tell by the bars it doesn't show up. But either way, and I really wanted Mara to win, just so like, and again, I was a big fan of Kalinowski, and yeah, his storyline didn't end up that way, but I like his character still. I didn't like this.
Yeah, it was just like I said, low energy match. Like it went to sudden death. So I mean, obviously, like on paper, it's a good match, but it just didn't have the feel of a good match. It just felt like going through the motions. It just felt like going through the motions of a title match. There was nothing exciting about it. I would say really the only thing to point out about it isn't something that's necessarily exciting, but just kind of a little bit worried about like where Mara's head is at. I mean, she genuinely just didn't seem to be having a good night, a good time.
I'll offer a little bit of insight into that, but I'm just going to reference this really quick to see like one in particular I missed because I didn't get it in my notes. But okay, so this is another case of the who said it. So Kalinowski spun Middle Earth, which I thought he was going to just like utterly fail in. That wasn't like I was at work and I was just sweeping the broom, and Kalinowski got Middle Earth. I'm just like, okay, great, match is over. Mara won, game over.
Yeah.
It's so disappointing. And then Mara got Who Said It, which just watching it was really interesting to see how like difficult the questions were. I think there was one that I got on even a multiple, or actually no, I got one on a 2 and another one on a multiple choice. But even aside from all that, that's tough. That's tough.
It is. Yeah, it is. And I mean, I guess it's interesting to wonder where the inner geekdom goes from here with Mike holding the belt. Mara, I get the impression that she's probably going to be out for a while. So
personally, I think
Inman's schedule is kind of tricky. So I mean, I think Rachel's still kind of like in it, but everyone else's schedule is kind of.
Why is Inman's schedule tricky?
Well, isn't he kind of like busy with? Is he writing a bunch of stuff and?
Last I heard, he was working for someone, and the show got canned, so now he's like totally independent.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, then maybe he's
it's probably something different.
I was under the impression that he was kind of stepping away for a while because his schedule was kind of busy.
Maybe I don't know. I think that's the purpose of them setting up Robert Meyer Burnett at the end of this was because of like like solid intergame competitors are going to be hard to come by. We might not see Mara until like the tournament next year, which I'm sure they're going to keep the intergame tournament in place. Because I think in terms of like we'll remove Mara and Inman from the slates. So you have Burnett coming back. You have Hlavik, who did a really solid job in the league. Cushing is obviously the biggest threat in there currently. If Navarro works harder, he can come back. Navarro. And out of those four, there's no one really putting up a solid fight. Keaton, Marchi, whatever could come back. Rosie Knight,
Avon.
maybe. Oh yeah, Habon and Donica, because God, I want more Donica.
Yeah, Donica could be a contender. Actually, Johns would be a great contender if
Oh yeah,
he.
Sean Gerber. I'm forgetting all the people that were in it. Yeah, so you have Sean Gerber, Donica, Habon. So I think if you lowered it to like an 8 seed rather than a 16 seed tournament, you might be better off.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I would rather see like a tournament with fewer games, fewer matches, and more like selective, a more selective like
matchups.
tournament.
Like, you don't want because we don't want to go back to the same thing last season where it's just a bunch of competitors getting knocked out in the first round and like literally knocked out. I think the only one who wasn't was 5 versus Washington. Other than that, I believe they're all knockouts. Maybe Hlavik versus Navarro.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it's kind of curious where the inner geekdom will go from here. But really, the only thing I took away from this match was just kind of wondering. I mean, it's the elephant in the room. There was some kind of weird editing going on in the post match. Yeah. So, I think we all kind of got the impression that Mara might be done with the Schmoedown for at least a little while. And not to speculate on what that reason was, and definitely not going to call her names or anything, which is completely inappropriate. So, but I do think it's important to point out that it was pretty clear that her head was maybe not completely, or at least her heart wasn't completely in it. And we kind of got that from the post match that that the prep work and the Schmoedown stuff was maybe taking a little bit of a toll on her. So, yeah.
Danny, one of our wonderful co-hosts, he said in YouTube comments people were like particularly calling her out on her mental health. Bowties, I'm going to use usernames here because you guys shouldn't be doing this. Bowties are cool said Mara is kind of a bitch, which I don't really get. Trey Collerman said, is Mara bipolar or something? I don't know. And then Jason Fast Horse said, damn, Mara was super salty and nasty in defeats. Like, I think, yeah, she can be salty, whatever, but Kalinowski was being a bit of an ass. He was playing a character, that's fine, but still. And frankly, if she does have mental health issues, that's fine. We shouldn't be harassing her for it. We shouldn't be thinking any less of her. Because I know, at least I believe, everyone on this panel has some sort of mental health deterioration or disease or something. So it hits a lot of us personally. On top of that, you could just also be, a decent human being and not attack someone. There's that too.
Yeah. Yes. We all love Mara and we want the best for her. And I mean, if preparing for the Schmoedown really was causing issues for her personal mental health, then obviously she needs to address that with no judgment from people, no criticism from people. So I hope we see her again in the inner geekdom, or at the very least that she hangs around with Dan while he's still competing. Like, I hope it's not like the last we see of her, but it does seem to me like something had soured her on the situation. Like, just from the post match comments, it seemed like something had gotten to her, whether that was internal, external, or both. Um, it seemed like something had gotten to her.
Um, I see. I don't know because I'm thinking back to when she won the title at the live event, and she says like, "Oh yeah, whatever. This is just movie trivia," or plays it off very lightly. But she was really happy to win that. Like you
Hmm.
saw in Inman, like
Yeah.
he got like the Brandybury wine or something, and he gracefully handed it over, and it was a very sweet thing, and she could tell she was excited. And then Mike walks up and is like, "No, no, 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 my show. I will fight you at Spectacular or something."
Yeah. I'm sure. I'm guessing she was prepared for that. I would hope they prepared her for that at the live event.
I'm pretty
Um,
sure she did, but I'd still be salty about that.
I mean, but it still took away her moment, whether she was prepared for it or not. It did take away her moment, which is kind of, I can understand her being a little bit upset about that. Um,
Yeah.
but I mean, I don't know if it goes back to that or if it's something more recent or if it's just who knows. But
Yeah,
yeah.
I see. I don't know personally. However, just to backtrack onto the less serious topic, because I realize this is a very personal thing, and if Mara is a fan of the show, which I doubt she is, but if she is, we don't want to be dragging. We don't want to be like focusing on it too long. Like you can, my handwriting is terrible, but you can have like for the Intergeekdom tournament, a great 8 seed tournament or six, eight, 1, 2, 8 seed tournament. Basically, you could have Mara could come back. You could have Jared Habon, Robert Meyer Burnett, Adam Hlavik, Rachel Cushing, Hector Navarro, Emma Fife, and Mark Donica. While I'm leaving Jay Washington out, which I would love to have him in, that's still like a
I think
really solid 8 seed.
I think I'd leave Fife out, but that's probably just personal bias.
Yeah, I put Fife in because she got to the second round. Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't put Keaton Markey in because I think she's not as competitive as Navarro, and Burnett just seems to be very story centric. So having him in is pretty much a necessity. But other than that,
Yeah.
Hlavik got to the semifinals. Donica played very well, but on top of it, like his mental health was very bad that day, so I'm going to give him benefit of the doubt and say he could have been better. He also, challenged
Hmm.
Eamon for the title. And Rachel, of course, is Rachel. She's gonna be in. If she has a time in her schedule, she's going to destroy that bracket.
Yeah. Or it could be, I mean, I don't know Chance Ellison. I don't know if he has Energy chops.
No,
No?
I mean,
Mm.
because his strengths inside the singles aren't that good. I wouldn't mind getting, say, Ben in the tournament because he said he's wanted to do it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind like
Yeah.
a Ken Knapsack in there, who I think he could do a solid job. He seems like he's very Star Wars, but I think he could do a solid job at Marvel as well.
Hmm.
Yeah, because but Intergeekdom isn't like it's not dying for competitors like the Star Wars League is. So I think
It's, yeah.
yeah, I think adding new
It
players right
still would
now
be
isn't
nice
a
to
great
get
idea.
some, it would still be nice to get some more competitive, competitive people in there.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
well, I wouldn't mind getting people like say if there's like a one-on-one versus Dorian Parks and Rosie Knight, that'd be fine because
Yeah.
we want to like enforce new blood, but also these people didn't get very good chances to shine. Give them these better opportunities to like show how good they are. Because in a
Hmm.
five-way, you get very drowned out. Because in a one-on-one, even if you lose, you still have the chance to be recognized. The reason we pick up the names Jared Habon and Mark Donica so much was because they won. Habon swept the table, got 4 KOs, and Donica beat Hlavik, which was a very, very tight match. If it wasn't for that, not
Hmm.
like, and Hlavik wouldn't be remembered, and Donica would, or no, I think situations reversed, we probably forget about one of them, but because Donica got to the title match, we remember him. But either
Hmm.
way, uh,
Yeah.
anything
I
else
would
you want
I
to?
would be curious. I would be curious about like just kind of talking about other competitors. Um, Mike Carlson. Um, I mean, he did decent when he was. I mean, like I think he's kind of a potential. Like he has potential. Um, Andre the Black Nerd. I would be
I'd be
interested to see.
so happy.
I mean, I don't know like how well he knows Star Trek. I don't know how well he knows Lord of the Rings, but the comic book stuff, I think he'd be pretty legit on. I think he probably knows Harry Potter pretty good. If there was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles category, he'd probably like sweep it. And I feel like, yeah.
That should be in a mixed
So
bag because that's a pretty nerdy thing.
it is. So I mean, I would like to see him compete. I don't know how well he would do, but I mean, I think he's definitely someone to kind of to give a chance to earn to get some new competitors into the inner geekdom. So yeah.
Hmm. Is there something else you wanted to comment on this match?
No, I think that's pretty much all I got. I would say congratulations to Mike Kalinowski, but I'm not feeling too congratulatory towards him. So yeah, it is what it is. I'm sorry, Mara, for you losing your belt. Mike, okay. But yep, I'm done.
I look forward to Mike losing the belt, mostly because I want more of the corruption storyline. However, it's possible I want it to happen, but
Yeah. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see like now that Christian has exposed his master plan and how Mike was a pawn in all of it. It'll be interesting to see how Mike reacts. Is if Mike is like if he like becomes a shell of himself or whether he like fights back twice as hard and like it like creates a bigger monster than they could have expected.
because I forget what match it was, but Ken seemed to step up. Like I think Mike was really disappointed after something, and Ken walked over, like picked him up, and was like, "You got this. We are fighting the corruption." I wouldn't because Ken is managing him. I wouldn't mind if Ken like took the adversarial role, like the
Mhm.
Palpatine to the Vader say, where it's like you have done well, but as now we need to finish the job. I think that would be fun because Chance is gonna have a run in singles. Like win or loss against Janine, he's gonna have more matches. Ken obviously has or actually everyone in that faction has a belt besides Chance, so they'll probably be rigging it to get like Chance more singles shots and stuff. So they can be the first faction
Yeah.
to exclusively hold all the belts.
Yeah. All right, time for the big to do.
Irwin versus Roka. Roka lost. Roka lost.
He did. He lost.
I'm so happy.
He did
Like
lose.
the fact that it's not Ben, it disappoints me. The fact that it's not someone with a personality disappoints me. But I'm just glad it's not Roka.
Yeah, the only disappointment to me is well, there's a few. One is Roka didn't like he could have been putting on a front, but Roka just didn't seem like he was like all in. Like I mean, he just didn't seem that into it, I didn't think. But even if he was kind of just trying to keep a cool, like calm, collected demeanor, um, it's still I mean, he's still going to compete apparently. He said he's going to compete until he dies. So yeah. But I will say that it would have been nice to see someone beat Roka in a very fiery way, like someone that
Like
Roka
just
doesn't
stomping
like,
them down
like
kind of
Ben.
thing.
Like someone that either Roka just doesn't like or Roka get TKO'd or um I mean just it would have been nice to see Roka go down in a very like
Goodness
bombastic
gracious, great
way.
ball of fire.
Right. I felt like I mean he lost, but it was a very quiet loss. It didn't feel like a very like big deal. So that's the only disappointment I have. I would have rather seen him lose in a way that was much more like grating on him as a person. So, but other than that, yes, a loss is a loss. I will say that. So, of course, that just means it gives him time to become the first three-time belt holder. So that's the
Three
that's the
time,
negative
three
side
time
of it.
champ.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
the day Roka retires is the day, like I'm not sure if you remember, but when Alan Rickman passed away, everyone went to Harry Potter Land and like put up their wands.
Mhm.
I'm just imagining the day that John Rourke retires, everyone goes to his little train station in Universal Studios, takes their outlaw masks and shirt, and starts waving them in the wind while playing the Cloud City theme. But until
Yeah,
then, we got a new champ, which
we
gave us probably
do.
one of the funniest moments in Throwdown history.
Apparently, our new champ is Jay Washington, unbeknownst to anyone.
Okay, but we need to focus on the important part. Is in the speed round, they were both so terrified to get the wrong answer, they didn't guess Sam Levine. Like
Yeah,
playing,
I knew the answer too. Like that was the one.
I
Like
would
that
have
was
guessed
like
that
the one.
like because he's not the Bear Jew and he's not Brad Pitt, so it's like only other person is Sam Levine. So I just Sam Levine. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that was like the one. I'm like, do they not know it or they're just afraid to answer?
They
Like,
were so Sam just like, okay, match is over. I get the belt. Which
oh man, you know
honestly,
what would have been amazing if he legitimately like threw down like, okay, it's three way now.
yeah.
Like, that would have
Which
been amazing.
he couldn't have won, but would have been like I honestly would have been all for like it would be the biggest blue balls of the entire history of sports even if middle of the match they got this wrong and Sam just took the belt and walked out. It's like I'm the champ again.
Just ran home.
I would have been
Like,
fully there for it. Like Christian,
okay, I'm unretired. Bye.
no, it's like no.
Yeah.
Sam could literally be like, I defended the belt twice. I have the automatic rematch, and I don't care. Here's my rematch. I'm just taking the belt.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that was a pretty funny moment. Another funny moment for me was when, like, okay, maybe not funny, haha, maybe just like I found it amusing, but like when Jay was enthusiastically trying to shake Roka's hand and Roka just was having none of it. Like, I was just like, I don't cheer for Roka, but
Go
I was like,
you.
thank you. I was like, don't shake his hand. He's being an idiot. So,
You need to
but
jump off this Jay hate train.
he got his win. He got his win. He didn't get his win with the people that he's been with for, months and months and years, but he got his win with someone he's known for all of 2 weeks, but he got his win. So I guess that's all that matters.
I don't have much to say about this other than that little speed round quip. Um,
Yeah.
I was very like when I got to Roka's last question, I also guessed Kevin Costner. I have to think about it for a while. I was like, yeah, Jim Parsons was the correct answer. But oh man,
What was the last question?
who plays the head astronaut engineering, or who plays the head of engineering in NASA in 2016 Hidden Figures?
Oh, yeah. I think I knew that.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I honestly just I guessed wrong, whatever. But I heard him say, Kevin Costner. And I'm like, no. And I saw
Yeah.
Carlos face, and you're a winner. And I jumped up and screamed.
Even if I was guessing, I would have guessed Jim Parsons over Kevin Costner because
Yeah.
Kevin Costner would not have been a 5 point question. Like that would have that wouldn't have been 5 point worthy, I don't think. So like if I were guessing between like or guessing, I would have guessed Jim Parsons. But I'm pretty sure I knew that. So, but yeah, then yes. Then we have a new champion for however long it's going to be, at least till January.
Yeah. But you know what this means, right? It's even easier to
What?
get Ben versus Roka too.
This is true, especially since he said he had no intentions of hanging it up. He said he's going to continue playing. So
At this point, I
sounds
want to know
like
what it takes for Roka to lose because he keeps getting handed like this is a sign that you can be, the goat. He's not going to be, but he can be, and that's what he keeps hearing because he keeps winning these titles. I really want to know what it takes for him to be so defeated he gives it all up. He was going to after Founding Fathers. If he lost to Bibiani, that would have been it. I need to see what it takes for Roka for the beast to be slain. I need to see what Roka just throws it away. I think if Founding Fathers takes another big loss, and if someone like Bateman or Guy,
yeah, I don't know. I think he's in it. Like I think I think he could lose to Finstock and he would continue to play. Like I don't know. I mean, the only thing I can think of is like if personally, like if like his personal life gets to a point or his professional life or whatever gets to a point that gets to that point that he needs to concentrate on himself and everything, then I think that's what we will see as being the end of Roka. But for right now, I think he's pretty much stuck. And I think we have lost James. Hello, are you there? Hello.
yes, yes.
Please tell me we did not lose everything.
I don't think so. It still says it's broadcasting.
Yeah,
Like
I stayed
worst
on
case
here the whole
scenario, this is
time.
what we lose.
Yeah,
Okay.
I stayed
No,
on
I
here
I, I
pretty much
kept
the.
I kept saying like, "Hey, Melissa, your video's first," and I typed something to talk to you, and then it crashed. So,
Oh gosh.
do you remember what the last thing I said was before it went?
No.
All right. So yeah, I think we just give the outro now.
Okay.
All right.
Did you want to talk about
Burnett and Nost.
I mean we already kind of talked about Burnett a little bit.
Um,
Is there anything
I'd,
else?
I'd honestly just say, um, sorry for the edits, uh, video crash, whatever. And right about time is when we need to start signing off. Like goodbye to Nost, and then we transition into going like giving goodbyes. Does that sound good?
That is fine.
All right.
Yes.
All right. So, give me a second. Sorry for that, guys. The broadcast crash, whatever. Like I was going to say before we got rudely cut off by my terrible internet, we should be signing off right now. At the end of the match, we saw Nost leaving the show, which is very sad, but it was a good time having him there. I I know personally I love his presence more than most. I think he was one of the best parts of the Horsemen consistently, and I look forward to just listening to him on the Top 10 show every week. I know I'm a traitor. And, Burnett. I'm excited for Burnett. I think we talked about it mostly. Melissa, was there anything else you wanted to throw in with that?
Yeah. Well, just yeah. I mean, just like you said, no. It'll be disappointing. It'll be sad to see his grumpy old man personality go because it was just amusing to me, like his dry sense of humor. So definitely will miss that. And then, yeah, Robert Meyer Burnett was like, I think was kind of like the major surprise for me of the night, like in a positive way, just because he's been kind of away from the Collider family for so long, which with Christian, at the end of this match talking about how the Schmodown will be moving away from Collider might explain Robert Meyer Burnett coming back, but with him being away from Collider for so long, I kind of had given up hope that we would ever see him again in the Schmodown. So seeing it cut to him, I actually was very excited in that moment. So I'm definitely super excited to see Robert Meyer Burnett back next year. Um, but yeah, that's really all I have.
All right. So for the final time of the year, uh, plug your socials.
No socials, but you can find me on Facebook at the Movie Trivia Schmodown Facebook page, as well as the Action Army Facebook page. Action Army, we're gonna continue to go strong, even even as tentative as things are at the moment. We are going to continue to be Action Army proud in the meantime. So I'll still be there.
Yes. Like we said, our dads have been divorced, so we're not sure what's going to happen within the show. But as our own show, we will be here. We will continue to be Action Army. We will support both of our lovely dads in this tumultuous time. You can find me on Twitter at Temecula Film Guide. That is at TEMECULA. You can find Ben and Andrew on Twitter at Ben Bateman Media and at Andrew Guy. You can find their Instagrams under the same at. You can also find us at Call to Action Pod on Twitter and find their general amalgamation of shows on Twitter at Team Action Show. Do not forget to support the Team Action Patreon, as well as the Schmodown Patreon, which is now very involved. It's a shame we didn't have time to get into it today. I could say very shortly, I support the change, and I hope that it makes the series somewhat profitable in the near future. Melissa, any final words before I do a little outro?
Nope. Just see you in 2019.
Yeah. And actually, that's a little misleading. We will continue to be putting out content until the next season starts. As you all know, we're not just Schmodown fans. We'll be doing more of the things that we talked about, or we would normally consider variety segments in the past. We'll be going our best films of the year, maybe our Oscar predictions, our own nominations if we were to host the Oscar, or not host, but give our awards brackets. We could be doing little one-offs. Nat is a very big fan of The Office. We could talk about that. there's a lot of things we can do. If you have an interest in something you want us to do or something we want to cover, leave it in the comments below. Otherwise, I look forward to putting out some original content, not just reactions. And other than that, have a great holiday season. Have a great new year. Have a great following your New Year's resolutions for 2 days and then pigging out on a pint of ice cream, because I know I'll do that. And yeah, this is a strange feeling, but see you next year.